Hey everyone, so this is the second part of this tournament coverage that I played like maybe about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, in this fifth game, I was played against a player named Melky. Now after e4, I played c5, and then my opponent played bishop c4. So first off, I already see that my opponent is likely like not a good player because, not a strong player because he played bishop c4, which of course, after I play e6, the bishop is simply going to be bad on this diagonal. I'm also going to be hit with I'm also going to be able to hit it with d5 next. So here my opponent plays knight c3. I play knight c6, very standard, controlling the d4 square. They play knight f3. Now I'll play the move knight f6. Now my simple plan is just to push d5 immediately as fast as I can. Now if they play d4, then I would simply take on d4. I think this is what I was aiming for. And here, I think out of, all of the possible setups here, even the simple move queen c7, which is very much in line with my normal Taimanov repertoire, I think this would fit really well because the bishop on c4 does not really do anything here. So I would basically get a good version of the Taimanov in this sort of position. So that's why my opponent played d3, but now I play d5 immediately. They took on d5, and then they play bishop b5. So here, of course, there is one trap, which is that if I play d4, white has to take on c6, because if they move the knight away, then of course queen e5 check wins the bishop. But I thought that, okay, if I don't even touch these pawns in the center, then I should have just the full center, and I don't need to waste any more time, right? Because after d4, of course, white is going to take on c6 first with check, followed by maybe a move like knight e4. Probably black is still better because of the bishop pair, but I don't think it's necessary to like spend another tempo on moving this pawn. So that's why I just play bishop e7. And then after h3, just preventing bishop g4, I think this is fine. Castles. Now, my plan is simply to restrict white's pieces, preventing them from occupying good squares. So that's why I played h6 here, preventing bishop g5. Now, my opponent played a weird move, bishop takes c6, because this simply wastes time. Now, I'm perfectly happy to see this, because after b takes c6, like, I did not even need to spend a tempo on a6 to kick away the bishop, right? So now, black just has the bishop here, and definitely has a nice advantage. My opponent played 95, but of course, this move is only like a one-move threat. I simply play bishop d6 here, because I can't take this pawn on account of queen c7, winning the knight, because it's simply trapped. So, they play knight f3. Now, I play rook b8 here. In this position, honestly, I wasn't entirely sure on how to maximize the advantage, which is why I sort of I don't think I found the right plan here, which is that I play rook b8, which is fine. They play b3, but now here I thought that okay, let me just finish my development. If I play rook e8, I'm afraid that they're gonna try to exchange pieces with rook e1. And if I play bishop f5, I thought that this would lead to normal development. But the thing is that I should have looked in the looked and saw that this bishop is simply not good on f5. It's simply not doing anything. So I shouldn't have done this. Computer recommends a very nice and interesting idea, knight h5, which is actually quite nice the more that I look at it, because queen f6 is an idea, knight f4 is an idea, queen g6 next, for example, a lot of pressure on white's position. So that's the move that I should have found, but instead I play bishop f5, knight e2, and now here my opponent wants to play bishop f4, so this is why I played the move queen c7. Though again, the computer does recommend the move knight h5. Which is funny because g4 seems to, come with a fork. But actually there's a sequence you just simply go take 6 and queen f6 and two pieces are hanging here. So I'm pretty sure if they just take here, like, they're probably just much worse after, yeah, here it takes on a1. And I think their king is like completely open here despite the fact that they have two pieces for the exchange. Yeah, two pieces for the rook. So here I play queen c7. I think very natural just to control the f4 square, but this does allow my opponent to play bishop b2, now hitting my knight. So this I underestimated, so I had to go knight d7 back, though here I was considering d4, but honestly I'm not too sure after the complications after the move c3 here. dc3, yeah, bishop takes c3 here. Yeah, probably here, it's actually quite good. I'm coming to realize here after c3. So maybe I was just afraid of this, but I think rook f8 and black has a lot of pressure here. So probably this is what I should have went for. Just went for d4 directly. But instead I went for knight d7. They play g4 now. More so out of necessity, I think. Yeah, because like otherwise white is extremely passive here. They're not able to play knight f4. They're not able to play knight g3. Black has a nice center as well. So my opponent played g4. A very logical decision. I drop the bishop back, and they play king g2. So now white's intention is sort of to get the knight to g3, and then try to fight for the center. That's why I played rook e8, knight g3, and now I was, again, confused on what to do. Because I spent a long time here calculating the move d4, but then I was thinking c3, knight f6. I want to get to this f4 square. That's my intention. C takes d4, knight d5. But then I saw that perhaps after bishop c1, this isn't that clear. Though now that I'm looking at it, I think this is just extremely good for... yeah, this is extremely good for black. So yeah, I was missing quite a lot of things in this game, I think. But I already knew that my position was better at this point, so I thought that, okay, even if I play rook e7 and just double up on the d-file, he's not able to like fully contest the e-file directly because I could double up just in time. And now they play queen f1 here. And they want to just play rook e1 next, exchanging more pieces. So I play d4, rook e1, knight f6, trying to get the knight to the d5 square. They play rook takes e7, queen takes e7, and now they play bishop c1, anticipating a piece occupying f4. So I play knight d5, and now here they make a big mistake. They play the move queen e2. What they should have done is they should have went for the move knight e2, just covering the f4 square, but my intention was just to go knight b4, winning one of the pawns. So this also leads to a nice advantage, but my opponent played queen e2, which led to the exact same thing, but with the queens off the board, and this is now just technically losing. So my opponent went for knight e1, I took the pawn, we played a couple moves, I tried to bring my king into the game, and then we got to this position, basically, where my bishops are not effective at all. Now, I understood that my main plan here should definitely be to try to extract this knight out the board, right? So bishop c7, a5, and knight b4. Eventually, I don't remember exactly all the details on this game, but eventually I got that. I got exactly what I intended, and we got to this position. So in this position, okay, I got my knight out to b4. I was attacking the c2 pawn. That's why they gave up the bishop. And eventually I undoubled my a pawn. I think I undoubled my c pawns, yeah. And then I played c5. So yeah, we reached this position basically, and I didn't manage to find the winning technique here. Now, if you want to pause your videos and try to find the winning technique, then feel free to do so. But yeah, essentially here, the winning technique is simply to push the pawn to a3. Now, I considered this for some moments, but my consideration was after the knight gets to a2, how am I going to make progress? Now, it turns out that the computer does say that simply sacrificing the bishop for these pawns and then advancing the g pawn just simply wins. Which, of course, it's clear to me now, but during the game, I did not spot this plan. So that's why I actually maintained the tension, and I just went for king d5, we went for a bunch of moves, and eventually I took on b3. I was hoping that after, I think they played the move knight takes b3, if I'm not wrong. No, they play c takes b3. I was hoping that after bishop b5, at some point their king is going to go away, then I'm going to be able to take on c3, and if they take on c4 with the b pawn, then I can bring my king into the game. While if they take with the d pawn, then I can enter my king. So that's basically my hope, trying to get very concrete play. But what I should have done is that I should have simply fixed structure here and just played a3. Right, this is the proper technique. Restrict their pieces further. This knight now cannot go anywhere. It has to maintain contact with a2. And then from here, I should think about what I should do. But I was down on time. I had like about 5 seconds at this point. So yeah, unfortunate result of the game was a draw. So yeah. So next game, I was playing against this player, Ruben Chandra. Now I played e4. They played c6, d4, d5, and I played my trusty e5. Bishop f5, knight d2. So this is an interesting move order that I want to talk about. In the advanced Caro-Kann, knight f3 is the main line. After e6, bishop e2. What I didn't realize during the game was that this system with knight d2 is basically designed to prevent a quick c5, right? But the thing is that black can aim for c5 anyways. Because after knight e7, knight f3 here, h6 I just played a4. My intention is just to get a5. The idea behind delaying bishop e2 was that I saw that if black played c5 here, I wanted to play c4. So this was my intention. The reason is that in the normal bishop e2 lines, it's well understood that here, for example, knight f3, e6, bishop e2, if black tries to play c5, but they don't defend the center enough. For example, something like this. They're not defending the d5 pawn enough, and they just go for c5 here. This is a mistake on account of c4, blasting open the center. d takes c4, probably here, I'm pretty sure knight a3 is extremely good. Just knight takes c4 is coming next. Extremely good position for white. So, just blasting open the position, of course. So, this is why I sort of tried to implement the same ideas into this knight d2, knight b3 line. But what I didn't realize is that white hasn't castled already, and so they cannot punish black in the same way as black did in this game. For example, after a4, they play c5, and I can't actually punish them in the same way that I would as in knight f3, bishop e2, because here I haven't castled. I haven't played the most principled chess, you could say. So here I played c4 anyways, because I thought this has to be the move. but it actually isn't. Now, my opponent made a mistake here. They should have, I think, just taken, played the move 97, just stayed solid here, I believe. But now they play d64, which allowed my bishop to get out. Now they play 97. Now I simply castle. Of course, if I want to blast open the center or, you know, do any of those operations, I do need to make sure that I get castled. So knight c6, putting some pressure on d4. Now I played the move rook e1. Here, honestly speaking, I was confused on what to do because I saw the line with d5. I definitely wanted to push this because this just gets, you know, this is the most forcing line. And directly if they take on d5, then after, I think simply queen takes d5. This is extremely good. I'm sure I can play bishop takes d5 as well, but just to illustrate the point, bishop e6, queen e4, takes. I mean, my queen is just perfectly placed here. You know, it can go back to e4, it can push e6, rook e1. Fantastic position, of course, right? So this is what I saw. But after d5, they have the move knight b6. Now, there's some crazy lines here, which I didn't see. After dc6 here, they can take on d1, and the computer says the only good move here is to take on b7. I didn't see this, because to see this in advance, I would have to see queen d8, bishop b5, king e7, and knight a5, which I didn't even consider, honestly. I considered sacrificing the queen for one moment, but then I saw that they could go queen d8 back, and then I just stopped my calculation there. So, yeah, the computer doesn't give advantage, like maybe plus 0.2, so not anything, really. So that's why I just played rook e1, you know, normal developing move. But now they play bishop g4. And this is the time where I finally play the move d5. I think this is properly timed. Now, there's a lot of captures possible here. For example, they could play knight d takes e5. But my intention was just to take on Pretty sure my intention was just to take a rook takes e5 here. Yeah. We can just check with the engine real quick. No, here apparently bishop e5 is winning. But yeah, I did not. I don't think I saw this. But yeah, essentially I felt like d5 here had to be the move. If I'm, you know, a couple tempi too slow, they're just gonna break my center and then just get castled, and they're gonna have a fine position, right? My e5 pawn also is like somewhat overextended in the endgame. So that's why I played d5. Here my opponent played bishop takes f3, followed by knight takes e5. But this loses on account of rook takes e5, takes, and bishop e5 check. Now, of course, knight d7, d takes e6. The structure is awful, right? This is absolutely awful, unplayable. Something like this, yeah, I mean, this is straight up unplayable. Yeah, bishop g5, bishop f4, everything is probably just winning here. But okay. Maybe actually bishop g5, yeah, maybe this was not so clear on account of knight f6. But, okay, essentially everything wins here. So that's why my opponent played king e7 here. And I had to find I didn't find the correct continuation here. Because, honestly speaking, this bishop takes f3 followed by knight e5 was a bit of a surprise. But here, I played the move queen e2, which doesn't give me enough compensation. Now, what I should have done is play d6. I did not see this because queen takes b7 here is actually a threat, right? And one possible line, according to the computer's best, is to take here. Bishop f1, queen takes b3, queen takes a7. And now the black king is exposed and white has a pass a pawn. This should be much, much better. So that's what I should have went for. But instead, I sort of panicked here and played queen e2. After queen takes e5 here, black is just completely consolidating. Now I understood this. I understood that black is better now. But I had to play energetically here. So I played bishop f4, attacking the knight on e5, and trying to, you know, trade like this. At least here I would have two bishops and I could sort of, you know, pretend I have something. But instead, my opponent played f6, okay? Now mine is actually hanging. So here I played knight a5, intending some tactics here. So they can't play b6. Actually, I think eventually they did play b6 here. But yeah, I mean, that's my intention, you know, to sort of try to dissuade black from doing that. So they played rook d8. I play h4 here. I thought that, okay, my king needs some loof. Let me play h4 so that I can also get an h5. Now here they play king f7, which I think is good. Now play queen c2. I was trying to take use of some of the weakened light squares here. Now they play b6 here. And now I play bishop c5. So b6 here weakens the c6 square, right? So this is what I was trying to use. That's why I play bishop c5. They play b takes a5. And now I play bishop c7. And now here, my opponent has a very important move. They have to play queen d2. If they don't play this, they're worse. The reason that they have to play queen d2 is because of the continuation in the game. They play rook c8, which allowed me to play rook d1. And now my rook is simply coming in. So this sequence allowed me to play rook d1 and get my rook to d7, right? For example, queen b7, rook d7, and then after this, queen g7, and this is just game over. They can't even take the rook, right? Take the bishop here because this is winning. So this would have won. But after rook d1, so yeah, I mean, that's the big point, right? Is that if they play queen d2 now, prevent me from playing rook d1 here. So after I move the queen away, now they can move away the rook. And now they're, yeah, still winning. So that's what I should have went for. But instead, that's what they should have went for. But instead we went this, and he sacrificed the queen. But I think he failed to realize here that after takes, the very important move here to just win on the spot is queen f5, because this d5 pawn is hanging. And black's king is also very unsafe. So this is exactly what happened. They were too greedy here. Playing d4, I play queen d5. Yeah, king e7. Now, I was spending some time here trying to figure out the win, so I just played bishop c4 first, they play king e8, now I repeat it, and finally I found the win with queen e4, because now they have only two possible squares. Of course, king f7 walks into mate directly, so that's why they have to play either king d6 or king d8. King d8 also walks into mate directly, and king d6 is the only move. But after queen f4, the black king cannot defend the rook. It cannot go to any of these two squares, and so they simply lose a rook. So eventually a couple moves were played, and I was able to convert this to a mate after this. I think my opponent resigned after rook b8, bishop f5. So good, I mean, not a great game by any means, but interesting. I definitely learned a lot of things from this game in terms of like the opening and the finesse from the Caro-Kann. Okay, so next game I'm playing against this player, Arif Hideyanto, and he played e4, c5, knight f3, e6. Now, this is the final round game, and I was very happy to see it, you know, the open Sicilian on the board. C takes e4, knight takes d4, knight c6. Yeah, I don't think I got the open Sicilian a single time this tournament, so I was very happy to get this. He played knight c3, queen c7, bishop e3. Now I'll play a6, of course, very standard, bishop d3. This was an interesting setup. I know that this is one of the most challenging lines, but I recognize that my opponent definitely does not know what he's doing. Like, he... Indonesian players oftentimes don't know a lot of theory, or most Indonesian players that are not professionals don't know a lot of theory. So I figured that this bishop d3 was just improvisation over the board, so I shouldn't be too concerned. Now I play knight f6. Very natural development. The only reason I would want to delay knight f6 is if white hits me with g4 and g5 directly. But now I don't think it's much of a concern. Okay, let me think here. What if g4? Now this is interesting. I mean, I could probably just get a fine position, playing d6, g5, knight d7. This would resemble sort of a Scheveningen, honestly, which probably is just better for white. So let me think about here. If g4 happens, then what could be played? I was thinking of some knight takes d4 followed by e5 business. That's quite typical, actually. This might be the solution, actually. On counter e5, hitting the knight. Yeah, and then after bishop e3, maybe d5 here is interesting. Even d6 here I was considering. Bishop b4 is also quite an interesting move, but here d6. My idea was that to meet g5 with knight g4. Now I'm seeing that there's maybe queen, yeah, knight d5, which is actually posing a lot of problems. So, yeah, this is interesting though. Maybe queen c6. Still somewhat playable. Yeah, probably just bad. Yeah, this is probably just losing straight up. So, yeah, probably I had to play something else. I'm guessing bishop b4 here is probably fine. Even h6 first. Yeah, like why not, right? Yeah, this looks to be healthy, I'm guessing. Yeah, this is healthy. Okay. Thankfully, I found the way forward here. So, yeah. But apparently knight e5 is just better. Ah, okay, so I can actually get access to the g4 square. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But okay. So, I wasn't afraid of g4. At least, I had the feeling that this was not a huge threat. So, my opponent played f3. Now, I play bishop e7, which is very standard. I never want to play bishop e4 and give up my dark sword bishop, right? So, they played a3, which, okay, maybe has the idea of stopping b5, b4, but that was not really a concern. So, this is really an very unconstructive move, this a3 move. So, here I play b5. Now, I was delaying castling here because I didn't want to get hit with g4 then. So, that's why I play b5, which I knew that the Taimanov is very flexible. Black can, you know, get away with playing on the queen side if white has also wasted time playing something like this. So, knight takes c6. This is a wise decision, but I think that black still has no problems. It's a wise decision because if they play castles, for example, then I'm just in time to play bishop b7. Now my bishop's able to recapture in c6, and I can look for the d5 break very soon. So that's why my opponent played knight takes c6, but this structure is very healthy for black. Honestly, I like the structure a lot. Black can play e5 next, for example, which is what happened in this game. Now, I was counting on the fact that f4 does not work on account of knight g4, hitting the bishop. Bishop moves, queen b6, and of course winning an exchange with knight f2. So they can't play f4 directly, and so they can't punish the fact that my king is still in the center. Now, my opponent played knight e2, which I felt was this is weird. Maybe they're intending c4, but this should not be the correct plan. So here, I anticipated that the knight was also heading to g3. So I thought, how much risk am I taking by actually not castling here? And what if I just try to provoke some weaknesses and try to attack them? So that's exactly what I did. I played h5. And honestly, I like this decision a lot. Just castling, just playing h5, trying to get my pawn to h4. I don't think that there's a good way for white to punish this this play. So they play c4. I played h4. Now I want to get the pawn to h3, right? I mean, it should be like a good inclusion here for black. So that's why my opponent played h3. But now I try to use the weakened dark squares here by playing the move knight h5. My opponent played queen c2, intending some tactics down the c file because my queen's undefended. So that's why I played queen d6, trying to swing my queen over to g6. They play c takes b5. I play c takes b5 to get my pawn out of danger, rook c1. And now here I recognize that they wanted to play queen c6. So I just castled, you know, got my king out of danger finally. So here they play bishop c5, trying to exchange some pieces. But I was very happy to see this because even though they have exchanged a bunch of pieces, my queen is still getting to g5. And that's exactly what happened. They play b4, queen g5, threatening bishop takes h3. And now here they play king h1, which already I saw from a distance. This is leading to some tactics in the air, if you can also spot them. But here I play bishop e6, just developing and also preparing rook c8 perhaps, or rook d8. So they play queen b2, targeting e5 perhaps, but here I simply play rook d8, hitting the bishop. And I felt here that my opponent was going to collapse, and he did. He played rook d1, which after my next move I think is simply like lost for white. I play the move queen e3. Of course, I'm attacking the bishop, and there's also some nasty threats, which I revealed on the next move. Now, I spent some time playing this move queen e3 because I had to see what happens after they play the move queen d2, intending to exchange off the queens, right? And so here, if you want to pause your video and try to find out the solution, yeah, you can do so. But here, I had to spot that I actually have the move rook takes e3. Of course, queen takes e3, rook takes e3, just with a piece up. And so they have to take the rook with the queen, and now I can take the knight, followed up with this knight g3 check with a winning back material, and so now black is just winning straight up. So that's what I had to see. But instead, after queen e3, my opponent immediately blundered with bishop b1, which allowed this queen takes e2 tactic. Now we went for the sequence, and here he has to exchange another pair of rooks. But now here, after rook e1, I don't want to move my knight away. I just want to get completely active here, prevent this bishop from being able to go out, right? So I think that this is simply, I think this is a great decision here. And I think black is just, white has zero counterplay. They play bishop d3. Okay, trying to distract the rook from the defense of the knight. But now here I play knight g3 because I see some, some things some motifs in the air for a mate in the future. So that's why I kept them on the board. Bishop e1. Now I play bishop c4, just activating the bishop. King g1. And I play a nice move, bishop f1, hitting the g2 pawn, threatening the mate, so they have to take on f1, and then eventually I play rook d1, and my opponent resigned. So this was a very smooth game. It showed a lot of the ideas on the Taimanov. It was like one of the, probably my most, the game that I'm most proud of, because it was very smooth from start to finish. So yeah, I hope this was somewhat entertaining or somewhat useful for those who play openings that are similar to mine, or yeah, for e4 opening, Sicilian, things like that. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching. And also, I just played a tournament in another city, and I had a really good personal performance. So I'm gonna make more content relating to that tournament. So yeah, thanks so much. See you next time.